नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशत रशत शिमर भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशत रशत शिमर भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशत रशत शिमर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशत रशत शिमर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोक्षर बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री रघुनाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपनु गौरिय गुरु वार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल पतदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम चय श्लहरस ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विदत गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। Once again. Okay. Where are we? Namo Om Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. One second. Sorry guys. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yang Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityang Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedus Tang Sarva Bhutta Hridaya Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Shrinvatang Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantasto Hyabhadrani Vidhunoti Suhritsatam Nashta Prayeshvavadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tavaivasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptastakama Ditaranga Madhe Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Well, the person who was calling me on WhatsApp a couple times just now, one is asking me if I could take care of her Giriraj for her. While she's traveling to a different country and she wants me to take care of her Giriraj. Whoa. All right, so Rup Manjari Didi shared these pictures with us of the Garbha Stuti, the demigods praying to Krishna in the womb of Devaki. There's the newer one. Garbha Stuti. Let's see all who's there. Dandavat Pranams, Ganga Didi, and Rup Manjari Didi, and Madhavi Didi, Rohit Radha Krishnanji. Hari Bol, everybody. So today is going to be a short reading because today is a huge recording day for me. I'm going to record 2 videos. Hari Bol, Raseshwari Mataji. No, I don't need to call her back. She said that she's leaving in 2 days. So I'm going to be making a video today for this article. I think we read this article together a couple of times. Well Wishers of the Fallen. It's such a good one. Such a good one. And so I'm going to make a video for this. And then I need to record the next video for Vine of Devotion. I need to do everything today. So 2 videos. I'm probably going to be up all night tonight. So I'm just doing a quick reading. We're just going to finish up what we were supposed to do yesterday, but the internet cut out. I've been having trouble with the internet today as well, though, so let's see what happens. Okay, let's just get first. Let's read all the prayers again. I know this is like the 3rd or 4th time we've gone over these prayers, but I think it's nice to keep on revising. So, where is it? Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narad, Devala, and Vyas, and by other demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, invisibly approached the room of Devaki, where they all joined in offering their respectful obeisances and prayers to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bestow blessings upon everyone. The demigods prayed, O Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect, because whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the 3 phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Indeed, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You are the active principle, the real truth, in all the ingredients of creation, and therefore you are known as Antaryami, the inner force. You are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone, for all time. You are the beginning of all truth. Therefore, offering our obeisances, we surrender unto you. Kindly give us protection. The body, the total body and the individual body are of the same composition, may figuratively be called the original tree. From this tree, which fully depends on the grounds of material nature, come 2 kinds of fruit, the enjoyment of happiness and the suffering of distress. The cause of the tree forming its 3 roots is association with the 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The fruits of bodily happiness have 4 tastes: religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, which are experienced through 5 senses for acquiring knowledge in the midst of 6 circumstances: lamentation, illusion, old age, death, hunger, and thirst. The 7 layers of bark covering the tree are skin, blood, muscle, fat, bone, marrow, and semen. And the 8 branches of the tree are the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. The tree of the body has 9 hollows. the eyes, the ears, the nostrils, the mouth, the rectum, and the genitals. And 10 leaves, the 10 airs passing through the body. In this tree of the body, there are 2 birds. One is the individual soul, and the other is the supersoul. The efficient cause of this material world, manifested with its many varieties as the original tree, is you, O Lord. You are also the maintainer of this world, and after annihilation, you are the one in whom everything is conserved. Is conserved. Those who are covered by your external energy cannot see you behind this manifestation, but theirs is not the vision of learned devotees. O Lord, you are always in full knowledge, and to bring all good fortune to all living entities, you appear in different incarnations, incidental to the material creation. When you appear in these incarnations, you are pleasing to the pious and religious devotees, but for non-devotees, you are the annihilator. O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of Mahajans, great saints, sages, and devotees. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nescience as easily as one steps over the hoofprint of a calf. O Lord, who resemble the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee, and therefore you are known as a desire tree, a vancha kalpataru. When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nescience, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you are very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. Someone may say that aside from devotees who always seek shelter at the Lord's lotus feet, there are those who are not devotees, but who have accepted different processes for attaining salvation. What happens to them? In answer to this question, Lord Brahma and the other demigods said, O lotus-eyed Lord, although non-devotees who accept severe austerities and penances to achieve the highest position may think themselves liberated, their intelligence is impure. They fall down from their position of imagined superiority because they have no regard for your lotus feet. O Madhav, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord of the Goddess of Fortune, if devotees completely in love with you sometimes fall in the path of devotion, they do not fall like non-devotees, for you still protect them. Thus, they fearlessly traverse the heads of their opponents and continue to progress in devotional service. During the time of maintenance, you manifest several incarnations, all with transcendental bodies beyond the material modes of nature. When you appear in this way, you bestow all good fortune upon the living entities by teaching them to perform Vedic activities such as ritualistic ceremonies, mystic yoga, austerities, penances, and ultimately samadhi, ecstatic absorption in thoughts of you. Thus you are worshipped by the Vedic principles. O Lord, cause of all causes, if your transcendental body were not beyond the modes of material nature, one could not understand the difference between matter and transcendence. Only by your presence can one understand the transcendental nature of your lordship, who are the controller of material nature. Your transcendental nature is very difficult to understand unless one is influenced by the presence of your transcendental form. O Lord, your transcendental name and form are not ascertained by those who merely speculate on the path of imagination. Your name, form, and attributes can be ascertained only through devotional service. Even while engaged in various activities, devotees whose minds are completely absorbed at your lotus feet and who constantly hear, chant, contemplate, and cause others to remember your transcendental names and forms are always on the transcendental platform, and thus they can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. O Lord, we are fortunate because the heavy burden of the demons upon this earth is immediately removed by your appearance. Indeed, we are certainly fortunate, for we shall be able to see upon this earth and in the heavenly planets the marks of lotus, conch shell, club, and disc that adorn your lotus feet. O Supreme Lord, you are not an ordinary living entity appearing in this material world as a result of fruitive activities. Therefore, your appearance or birth in this world has no other cause than your pleasure potency. Similarly, the living entities who are part of you have no cause for miseries like birth, death, and old age, except when these living entities are conducted by your external energy. Oops, I'm going way past what we read up to yesterday, right? Sorry, guys. Rup Manjari Didi said that we stopped at 37, huh? I thought I read way past this. Must have stopped way. Anyways, okay. Let's go through this again. All right. Hopefully the internet doesn't works this time. Let's see. So far, so good. Haribo Kishore Prabhu, Gargaraji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, and Sudevi Didi. Dandavat pranams to you all. So there's a Garbhastuti. Shrinvan Grinan Samsmarayangscha Chintayan Namani Rupani Chamangalani Te Kriyasu Yatvat Charanaravindayor Avishcha Cheta Nabhavaya Kalpate. Even while engaged in various activities, devotees whose minds are completely absorbed at your lotus feet and who constantly hear, chant, contemplate, and cause others to remember your transcendental name and forms are always on the transcendental platform, and thus they can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. How Bhakti Yoga can be practiced is explained in this verse. Srila Rupa Goswami has said that anyone who has dedicated his life to the service of the Lord, iha yasya harer dasye, by his activities, his mind, and his words, karmana manasa gira, may stay in any condition of life, nikilasvapyavastasu, and yet is no longer actually conditioned, but is liberated, jivan mukta sa uchate. Even though such a devotee is in a material body, he has nothing to do with this body, for he is transcendentally situated. Narayana parasarve na kutaschana bibhyati. Because a devotee is engaged in transcendental activities, he is not afraid of being materially embodied. It's Bhagavatam 6:17-28. Illustrating this liberated position, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed, Mamma janmani janmanishvare bhavatar bhaktir ahaituki tvai. All I want is your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. That's Shikshashtak 4. Even if a devotee, by the supreme will of the Lord, takes birth in this myth, he continues his devotional service. When King Bharata made a mistake and in his next life became a deer, his devotional service did not stop, although some slight chastisement was given to him because of his negligence. Narad Muni says that even if one falls from the platform of devotional service, he is not lost, whereas non-devotees are lost entirely because they are not engaged in service. Bhagavad Gita 9:14 therefore recommends that one always engage at least in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha drida vrata namasyantash chamam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, the great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. One should not give up the process of devotional service, which is performed in 9 different ways: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, etc. The most important process is hearing, Shravanam, from the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, the spiritual master, the saintly acharyas, and the Vedic literature. Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya, Chittete Koriya Aikya. We should not hear the commentaries and explanations of non-devotees, for this is strictly forbidden by Srila Sanatana Goswami, who quotes from the Padma Purana, Avaishnava Mukod Giram, Puttam Harikatam Ritam, Shravanam Naiva Kartavam, Sarpochishta Yatapaya. We should strictly follow this injunction and never try to hear from Mayavadis, impersonalists, voidists, politicians, or so-called scholars. Strictly avoiding such inauspicious association, we should simply hear from pure devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends Shri Guru Padashraya. One must seek shelter at the lotus feet of a pure devotee who can be one's guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises that a guru is one who strictly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Jare deko tare koho Kṛṣṇa Upadesh. That's Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 7:128. A juggler, a magician, or one who speaks nonsense as an academic career is not a guru. Rather, a guru is one who presents Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instructions, as it is. Shravan is very important. One must hear from the Vaishnava sadhu, guru, and shastra. The word kriyasu, meaning by manual labor or by work, is important in this verse. One should engage in practical service to the Lord. In our Krishna consciousness movement, our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. This is very important. One may approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature so that in the future he also may become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse. Kriyasu yas tvach charanaravindayo. Such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. By fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is samadhi. Checking everything's okay. Looks like it. Dishtya haresya bhavata pado bhuvo bharo panitas tava janmaneshitu dishtyan kitam tvat padakay shushobhanar drakshyam agamdyam chatavanukampitam. O Lord, we are fortunate because the heavy burden of We are fortunate because the heavy burden of the demons upon this earth is immediately removed by your appearance. Indeed, we are certainly fortunate, for we shall be able to see upon this earth and in the heavenly planets the marks of lotus, conch shell, club, and disc that adorn your lotus feet. Purport. The soles of the Lord's lotus feet are marked with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, conch shell, disc, club, and lotus, and also by a flag and a thunderbolt. When Kṛṣṇa walks on this earth or in the heavenly planets, these marks are visible wherever he goes. Vrindavan Dham is a transcendental place because of Kṛṣṇa's walking on this land frequently. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were fortunate to see these marks here and there. When Akrura went to Vrindavan to take Kṛṣṇa and Balaram away to the festival arranged by Kamsa, upon seeing the marks of the Lord's lotus feet on the ground of Vrindavan, he fell down and began to groan. These marks are visible to devotees who receive causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tavanukampitam. Groan? Is groan the right word? I always thought of groan as like, like not a happy sound. Make a deep, inarticulate sound conveying pain, despair. Oh, pleasure. You can groan in pleasure. Okay. The demigods were jubilant, not only because the appearance of the Supreme Lord would do away with the burdensome demons, but also because they would be able to on the ground the transcendental marks from the soles of the Lord's lotus feet. The gopis always thought of the Lord's lotus feet when he was walking in the pasturing grounds, and, as described in the previous verse, simply by thinking of the Lord's lotus feet, the gopis were fully absorbed in transcendence. Avishta na bhavaya kalpate. Like the gopis, one who is always absorbed in thought of the Lord is beyond the material platform and will not remain in this material world. It is our duty, therefore, always to hear, chant, and think about the Lord's lotus feet, as actually done by the Vaishnavas who have decided to live in Vrindavan, always, and think of the Lord's lotus feet 24 hours a day. Oh, that's a really neat sentence. It is our duty. But Srila Prabhupada is saying it is our duty, no matter where we are in the world, right? That we should remember Krishna's lotus feet, as done by the Vaishnavas who've decided to. So just as like the Vaishnavas in Vrindavan who absorb their minds 24 hours a day, it is our duty also to always hear, chant, and think about the Lord's lotus feet. Nate bhavasyesha bhavasya karanam vina vinodang batatarkaya mahe bhavo nirodha stitirapya vidyaya kritaya tastvaya bhayashrayatmani. O Supreme Lord, you are not an ordinary living entity appearing in this world as a result of fruitive activities. Therefore, your appearance or birth in this world has no other cause than your pleasure potency. Similarly, the living entities who are part of you have no cause for miseries like birth, death, and old age, except when these living entities are conducted by your external energy. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Mamai Vangsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The living entities are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and thus they are qualitatively one with the Lord. We can understand that when the Supreme Lord appears or disappears as an incarnation, there is no other cause than his pleasure potency. We cannot force the Supreme Personality of Godhead to appear. As he says in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise in irreligion, at that time I descend myself. When there is a need to diminish the burden created by the demons, the Supreme Godhead can do it in many ways because he has multifarious energies. There is no need for him to come as an incarnation, since he is not forced to do anything like ordinary living entities. The living entities come to the spiritual world in the spirit of enjoyment. But because they want to enjoy without Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa bahirmukha hoya bhoja vanchakore, they suffer birth, death, old age, and disease under the control of the illusory energy. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, however, no such causes are involved. His descent is an act of his pleasure potency. We should always remember this distinction between the Lord and the ordinary living entity, and not uselessly argue that the Lord cannot come. There are philosophers who do not believe in the Lord's incarnation, and who ask, why should the Supreme Lord come? But the answer is, why should he not come? Why should he be controlled by the desire of the living entity? The Lord is free to do whatever he likes. Therefore, this verse says, Vina vinodam batatarkaya mahe. It is only for his pleasure that he comes. Although he does not need to come. When the living entities come to this world for material enjoyment, they are entangled in karma and karma phala by the Lord's illusory energy. But if one seeks shelter at the Lord's lotus feet, one is again situated in his original liberated state, as stated here, Krita yatastvaya bhayashrayatmani. One who seeks shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord is always fearless. Because we are dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we should give up the idea that without Kṛṣṇa, we can enjoy freedom in this material world. This idea is the reason we're entangled. Now it is our duty to seek shelter again at the Lord's lotus feet. This shelter is described as abhaya, or fearless. Since Kṛṣṇa is not subject to birth, death, old age, or disease, and since we are part and parcel of Kṛṣṇa, we are also not subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. But we have become subject to these illusory problems because of our forgetfulness of Kṛṣṇa and our position as his eternal servants. Jiver Sarupa Hoy Kṛṣṇera Nityadas. Therefore, if we practice devotional service by always thinking of the Lord, always glorifying him, and always chanting about him, as described in text 37, Shrinvan Grinan Samsmarayang Chachintayan, we will be reinstated in our original constitutional position and thus be saved. The demigods, therefore, encouraged Devaki not to fear Kṛṣṇa, but to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is already within her womb. Matsyashvakachapa nrsinga rajanya vipra vibudeshu kritavatara tam pasinastri bhuvanam chayata dhunesha bharang bhuvo harayaduttama vandanang te. O Supreme Controller, your Lordship previously accepted incarnations as a fish, a horse, a tortoise, Narasimhadev, a boar, a swan, Lord Ramachandra, Parashuram, and, among the demigods, Vamandev, to protect the entire world by your mercy. Now please protect us again by your mercy, by diminishing the disturbances in this world. O Kṛṣṇa, best of the Yadus, we respectfully offer our obeisances unto you. Purport. In every incarnation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has a particular mission to execute, and this was true in his appearance as the son of Devaki in the family of the Yadus. Thus, all the demigods offered their prayers to the Lord, bowing down before him, and requested the Lord to do the needful. We cannot order the Supreme Personality of Godhead to do anything for us. We can simply offer him our obeisances, as advised in Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, and pray to him for annihilation of dangers. Everything still okay? Cool. Yeah. Tishyambate kukshigata parapuman angshena shakshar bhagavan bhavayana ma bhur bhayam bhoja pater mamurshor gopta yadunang bhavita tavatmaja. O Mother Devaki, by your good fortune and ours, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, with all his plenary portions such as Baladev, is now within your womb. Therefore, you need not fear Kṛṣṇa, who is decided to be killed by the Lord. Your eternal son, Kṛṣṇa, will be the protector of the entire Yadu dynasty. Purport. The words Para Puman Angshena signify that Kṛṣṇa is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the verdict of the Shastra, Kṛṣṇastu Bhagavan Svayam. Thus the demigods assured Devaki, your son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is appearing with Baladev, his plenary portion. He will give you all protection and kill Kṛṣṇa, who has decided to continue his enmity toward the Lord and thus be killed by him. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ittabhishtuya Purusham Yadrupam Anidam Yata Brahmeshano Purudhaya Deva Pratiyayurdivam. After thus offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Transcendence, all the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva before them. Let me reread that. After thus offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Transcendence, all the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva before them. All the demigods with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva before them returns to their homes in the heavenly planets. I don't know why that was so difficult for me to read. Okay, purport. It is said, Adyapiha Chaitanya e saba lila kore, jar bhage take se dekaye nirantare. It's Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya 23, 513. Incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear continuously, like the waves of a river or an ocean. There is no limit to the Lord's incarnations, but they can be perceived only by devotees who are fortunate. The devatas, the demigods, fortunately understood the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus they offered their prayers. Then Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma led the demigods in returning to their homes. The word Kukshigata, meaning within the womb of Devaki, has been discussed by Sri Jiva Goswami in his Krama Sandarbha commentary. Since it was said at first that Krishna was present within the heart of Vasudeva and was transferred to the heart of Devaki, Sri Jiva Goswami writes, how is it that Krishna was now in the womb? He replies that there is no contradiction. From the heart of the Lord, from the heart the Lord can go to the womb, or from the womb he can go to the heart. Indeed, he can go or stay anywhere, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 535. Andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamahang bhajami. The Lord can stay wherever he likes. Devaki, therefore, in accordance with the desire of her former life, now had the opportunity to seek the benediction of having the Supreme Personality of Godhead as her son, Devaki Nandan. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 10th canto, 2nd chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. All right, so tomorrow we will read this chapter again, reading the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and then we'll continue on to the 3rd chapter. What is the 3rd chapter? I think that's the birth of Krishna, right? That will be the appearance. Yes, the birth of Lord Krishna. So, yeah. The day after, well, I'm not sure how long it's going to take us to get through Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's purports. Usually his purports seem to be a lot shorter, so maybe we can get through it all tomorrow. I have to look at it though. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shishi, sorry, one second. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtar Ashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Devi ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtar Ashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtar Ashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashatara Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupano Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Jai ho. Shri Vasudev Devaki ki jai. Shri Krishna Chandra ki jai. Shri Narad Shankar Brahma Adi Devagan ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan. Gaurava Stuti ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashaja Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhu Bhyaeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. Have I ever been to Eka Chakra? Yes, I've been a few times. Actually, was it in 2020? Yeah, it was in 2020. I went with a whole ISKCON bus, and they invited me for a kirtan mela there. And yeah, we did kirtan every day for, I think it was 5 days, 5 or 6 days. And after the thing, they gave all the kirtaniyas gifts, and they gave this to me. This is the Thakurji from Eka Chakra, ISKCON. Oh. See, there's Gorni Tai, there's, yeah. Yeah, Eka Chakra is a really amazing place. All right, Dandavat pranams everybody. See you all tomorrow.